shake, rattle, and troll.
It's time for the award-winning Shake, Rattle, and Troll.
Yeah, kiss the one that body, grab your favorite pole. It's me and the boys gonna shake.
A show for the serious fishermen as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros.
We got the power, we got the speed. We're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Fresh water, salt water, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. It's me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell.
With Special K.
This portion of Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Safeguard Business Systems.
Oh, thank you, Donnie.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, and we've got a lot of stuff to cover today. Joe Notch is in the house, just back from South Texas, harvesting what we're going to call free-range bacon.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. And our pal Scott Lavin from AGGFD is in the house. You have some news. And I have to compliment you. That is the most Army haircut I've seen
I was going to
in
mention
6 months.
that's the sheared look today.
I'm going to be out in some hot weather for a while, so I figured I'd thin it out.
Nice.
Thank you.
You'd fit right in with the
Border
artillery
Patrol.
crew or the border patrol, one or the other.
I'm revisiting my youth.
That's a very difficult thing to retain.
Yeah.
It's a little bit gray around the edges, though. Did they cut off the dark hair and just leave you with the white cheeks?
Well, they failed miserably. I told them to cut the gray out, and you can see I got what I paid for.
Yeah. Yepper.
Okay, a couple things. We've got some announcements. The ADA is having a pretty big meeting on Tuesday night
That we
at Sportsman's Warehouse. We have a couple of guests coming down. I believe Mike Valdez will be there. Martin Rhodes has got an invitation to come. You're going to be talking about the strip. Who's coming down?
Actually, we're
what's the
talking
topic?
about a whole the hunt regs and the guidelines for the next 2 years are out. And we're working with the department on some of the projects and the way they want to see things handled. And we've always had, how about saying, discussions, heated sometimes, amicable others, regarding the numbers of permits, the allocations, the process of evaluating where the deer are, where they're not, how the department does their flights in terms of when they're spotting deer for their annual surveys, what the formula is that they use to determine how many deer there are in any particular unit. And, of course, it's really critical that if you look at a map, you've got 13A, 13B, and then you got 12A and 12B. So it's like there's only 4 units up there, but 100% of our auction and raffle tag winners hunt in only 2 of those units, 13A and 13B. So it behooves us to take remarkably good care of the genetics of those animals that are up there. And so determining how many tags we're going to be issuing, what the age class is, and they do a really good study. I looked all through the PowerPoint presentation last night. They have the age class is something you always worry about for strip bucks. You want to try and have 5-year-old bucks is what you're harvesting, not anything below that. And we're starting to trend down a little bit because of the abilities for people to hunt archery and just sit water holes. So it's something we're looking at.
Well, as president of the ADA and other associations that shall remain nameless right now, what are your recommendations to the department so far as any changes? Are you thinking?
Well, I had a lengthy conversation, a couple of conversations now with the Buckskin chapter president, and they're trying to do something that I find interesting. They want to have kids who have just passed their hunter safety course and gone through that process. They want them for the youth hunts to have almost like a preferential treatment so that they're hunting within that first year after they pass it, which I understand the logic behind it. I just don't know the implications of it. And if they're not hunting after that first year, he says that there's a lot of repeaters. Like last year they had 31 repeat on the juniors hunts from people who had hunted the year before, the year before that. And there's 400 deer tags for those hunts. So it's an interesting one. And then the second one was debating if a misidentification of a doe turns out to be a real young spike buck. Do they want them to be able to harvest in any sex deer? And I thought, no, because you're going to have dads who are going to say, okay, it's any sex, we're going after trophy. And I have a hard time with that. If it's a misidentification and it's a small buck, a spike, I can understand that to a degree depending on lights, etc.
No.
You're getting into that zone where I call it the domino theory. Once you do that, everything else starts to tipple forward the wrong way.
Yeah.
So, anyway, those are some of the things we'll be looking at.
Who's coming down from the department? Do we know yet?
I know Amber Munich's going to be there. I think Craig McMullen, Luke Thompson, some of those people.
Wow.
They're all coming in.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, there's some things they want to talk about, and there's some real questions. I mean, we study that unit more than any, and we funded in the past. I mean, I can't tell you how many times the word rump fat, fecal matter, age class, delineations, all those things. I mean, it drove us crazy for the longest time. And what were the browse line cuts between, what the food chain was that they were eating? I mean, it just ad nauseum. But we've studied it to death. And as long as the weights of the yearling bucks are above 90 pounds, they're considered to be in good shape. And they were averaging 93 pounds last year. So, and we have a project. Weekend, April the 15th to 16th, we're going to be out north of Pleasant. And so that's only, 4 weeks away.
Ooh, I need to plug that in the schedule.
Yes, you do.
Oh, baby.
Because we're going to be out there. You, of course, it's only, 10-minute ride for you.
Well, that's fine. However, I was scheduled to be with the department down running Sierra Vista. And parts unknown.
Let's put it this way. Your butt better be out there.
Yeah, roger that. Okay.
End of story. And Donnie. End of story.
Okay.
Now we can talk to Mr. Scott Lavin.
Okay. So you're the chief of the nightlife and wildlife and all kinds of fun stuff.
Let's call it the wildlife recreation branch chief, if you will.
Something like that.
The
right.
recreating branch chief sounds really good.
It's a good thing I love my job. It is a form of recreation.
Doing what you do, I would think that the entertainment value has waned a long time ago.
Well, this is our busy time. We're getting ready for the Arizona Game and Fish Outdoor Expo, brought to you by Shikara Safari Club International. And and I know you've been at the expo, but if you haven't been at the expo, it's an intimate gathering of 45,000 of our closest friends for 2 days.
Intimate, yes.
Infamous.
16-acre event, free to the public, with just about every form of outdoor recreation.
Parking's $100 though, right?
No, it's still free. And really, it's truly because we were talking about this yesterday. You guys know the department doesn't get any tax dollars, so therefore nobody's tax dollars is going into the execution of the Outdoor Expo,
right.
Nor is the department's standard budget. We've been blessed to grow the expo large enough that between our vendor fees and our sponsorships, this is truly a free to the public event that the department is not spending its resources on, except for staff. So
yeah, staff hours.
We truly thank our sponsors. We've got Shikara Safari Club International this year again as a title sponsor. 1AZ Credit Union, Shooters World, Daniel Defense for the first time on the firing line this year. You're going to be able to fire a Daniel Defense AR at the expo.
Nice.
I should never be allowed with an AR. It's just a bad thing.
True story.
Yes, it is.
So for those of you who don't know, it's this weekend, March 25th and 26th, 9 a.m. on Saturday till 5, 9 a.m. till 4 on Sunday. Just everything from archery. We built a 90,000-gallon pond in the middle of the desert so you can try kayaking.
There you go, KJ.
Yeah. I like it.
We've got introductory to shooting. Of course, our Outdoor Skills Network will be featuring we advertise a lot of youth-mentored hunt camps. You were just talking about youth hunt opportunities. And if you're a family that's new to this, you might not know what that looks like. We're going to have a setup to give you an idea of what to expect if you go to an Arizona Deer Association or one of our many other partners' mentored hunt camps in the middle of nowhere, so you're not just kind of flying in blind. Of course, our assets, law enforcement will be selling everything from elk racks to I hear they have an entire polar bear that was donated this year. So
Serious?
there's going to be some unique taxidermy and assets being sold at the expo.
I know they collect awful lot of assets, making house calls from time to time. So interesting.
Last year,
here's a good example though. I've harvested several bulls now, and I'm thinking about donating them when I pass on. If my kids don't want them, just donate them to the assets for LEs.
We're going to knock wood on that statement. Let's just hope you have that stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
We're going to flip into a break. Thanks to some of our sponsors, and maybe we should call a medic to check your blood pressure. That's bad juju, dude.
No, it's the truth. We're all going down that same path.
What?
Don't go away.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're back. Scott's talking about the Arizona Game and Fish Outdoor Expo.
brought to you by Shikara Safari Club International.
Nice. Good bunch of guys.
SCI.
No, different organization.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, say it again.
That's Safari Club International. This is Shikara Safari Club International. Different organization.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't either until they came on board.
Really?
But yeah, also a great bunch of guys, similar demographic, similar, priorities, but no, they've been on board for this is our third year, and really, and again, truly, it pays the bills. It keeps this thing free to the public.
Yeah.
Our mission is to provide those first step opportunities for people to get, just get their toes wet in a safe, comfortable environment. So over 1,000 people a year shoot a firearm for the first time in their life at the Arizona Game and Fish Expo.
Say that again?
Over 1,000 people a year fire a firearm for the first time in their life at the expo.
Wonder what would happen if the expo was moved down to, the old Pringle Dome, on McDowell, the state fairgrounds. Wonder if we'd get more people in that way, closer proximity.
And honestly,
You wouldn't have near as much stuff.
You wouldn't be able to shoot though. I don't think. I mean, we have a mile-long range.
Yeah, that's true.
Think
Never
about
mind.
this. We have a mile-long range of, and that's just center fire.
Hey,
that's not counting the
That's
shotgun busting
McDowell
area.
in 19th Avenue. Of course you can shoot down
You
there.
shoot there all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you stick your head outside at 10 o'clock at night, listen to random 9mm fire.
We are talking about safe, legal, ethical use of the resource today.
Oh, geez.
That's called stay calm, reload, return fire.
My goodness.
Okay, but seriously, over 1,000 people a year for the first time in their lives fire a weapon.
Yeah.
That scares me to no end.
Well, our intro shooting area is a rimfire 22 caliber range.
Sure.
It's done with NRA range certified law enforcement officers. So you have a gentleman or a lady with a badge and a sidearm who's very well trained, giving you one-on-one safety instruction at the firing line. To me, it doesn't get any better. And even if you're not at an entry level, if you go to the Glock booth, if you go to the Daniel Defense booth, the SIG booth, the POF booth, and it just goes on and on and on. You go up, you say, okay, I'd like to shoot that firearm. An attendant will grab that firearm for you and hand it to your personal range safety officer. They will walk you to the ammunition table. They will gather your information. You will follow them to the firing line. They will give you a brief instruction. They'll ask you if you have any questions. They will load the firearm for you and place it in your hands
And say you are now armed and dangerous.
and provide you that shooting opportunity. The biggest that used to be the greatest fun for me when I came to the expo as a customer. You spend $2 for 5 bullets. I spent a lot of $2. Now I'm running the thing, and I basically have
Is
fun.
it still a $2 charge for 5 bullets?
I think it is. I think for 44 Magnum and below, it was like $2 for 5 bullets. Some of them do it for free, but they run out of ammunition quicker, so
Yeah.
they try to.
Yeah.
Now, if it's over a 44 caliber, then you might be paying a little bit more.
And there's an opportunity to shoot to win a weapon. Lobar was out there last year, had ticket opportunities. We worked with Glock. Troy Gibbons was down, Captain Troy from American Heroes, have a little symbiotic relation going on. So, okay, what are the hours? What's the location? What's the address?
So the address is 4044 West Black Canyon Boulevard. It's right at Ben Avery Shooting Facility. You can go to the azgfd.gov website and read all about the Outdoor Expo this Saturday, this Sunday, 9 to 5 on Saturday, 9 to 4 on Sunday. And again, it is free to the public and free parking.
Nice. Well,
And then, they do have a very, very organized and good layout for parking there, and they've got the shuttles that are constantly running. So basically, what you do is you come in and you park, and you start at that end. You work your way all the way down to the end, loop around, and if you're tired at that point, they'll shuttle you all the way back.
Yeah, we've got it's a 16-acre event. It can be exhausting, and if it's a little warm out, there's plenty of food vendors
here in Arizona.
Well, once in a while, but we've got plenty of food vendors with the best iced tea and lemonade in town. Of course, you can get an elk or a bison burger at Handlebar Hank's. But yeah, the people movers, you have different bus stops you can get off, and thanks. We couldn't do this without the partnership with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department, who helps us with traffic control and keeps everybody moving forward safely. So you're right, huge parking capacity.
Yeah, and it goes back a long. I mean, there's a lot of parking, and you can go all the way down to the headquarters if you had to.
Absolutely, we could. I think this is our 10th anniversary of the Outdoor Expo. I think we're going to we set a record last year.
You set a record every year. It just keeps growing.
I think we're we're in the hunt for a 50,000 person weekend.
Are you going to have the director out flipping pancakes?
Director's breakfast Sunday morning for the vendors and the exhibitors. Absolutely, a few commissioners will be flipping those pancakes.
That just does so much good for my heart.
Well, I asked my friend Kent Comedina, who's running that show this year. I told him I wanted bananas in my pancakes, and he had a few choice words for me.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's easy to do. I've done it enough times, and a little bit of pecans and bananas and blueberries off to the side. Just set up a little mountain of each one. What do you want? Throw it in. I think it's a great idea.
It's always a lot of fun.
A little sticky on the griddle sometimes.
For those of us who get up before the crack of dawn on the Sunday of Expo, it's the high point of our day.
Excuse me, can you use early light or gray light?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I offend your sensibilities?
Crack of dawn. Come on, really?
At least you didn't say the butt crack of dawn.
No,
you're okay.
I would never say that as a state employee.
Thank you. All right. What else?
Well,
sounds like you pretty well covered that one.
Yeah, it's pretty exhaustive. You really, when we talk to new vendors, I bring a video now because you can talk until you're blue in the face, and unless you've been at an event of this is the largest attendance outdoor recreational event in Arizona by day. This is the only one we know of that you can shoot, and this is the only outdoor expo that focuses on the growth of the local Arizona economy. So there's just no way you can go wrong by attending this show. Over $1 million is spent either at the expo or the week post-expo from people who have seen toys. We're going to have trucks out there. We've got off-highway vehicles out there. We're going to have boats, RVs. We're going to give you the initial opportunity to learn how to catch a fish, shoot a bow, shoot a firearm, introduce you to organizations that'll take you out with a calendar of events to go out fishing regularly, to go out hunting regularly, and then introduce you
Wait
to...
a minute. Whoa. How come I can't hunt regularly?
The small game season is 12 months a year.
I don't care. I want
And
bacon.
maybe Tuesday night we'll be talking about free-range bacon on the strip.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah, well, we're going to have that discussion.
There's some people who are catching on to that, just so you know. I'm hearing conversations every now and then about free-range bacon and where people are starting to look.
Well, what I find interesting is a lot of the things that I take to the commission and the director, they laugh and make fun of me, and then 2 or 3 years later, it's
but you're good to make fun of, Don.
Well, yeah, I know, but I get it, and I appreciate their enthusiasm. But
he's like a piñata.
Now the
Lightning
free-range
rod.
bacon up on the strip, it's all over the department's website. Utah's talking about it.
Yep. Shoot.
Nevada's talking about it.
It was what 3 or 4 years ago that you.
Oh
were
yeah,
talking
they
about
started.
It. He
they
started.
Going, oh
he
yeah.
brought a blue slip up and started talking about it. And everybody's looking at each other like, "What's he doing?"
Yeah, well, now you can just you can Google feral hogs on the website.
They do devastate. There's
I
no
was
question
surprised to see that on
Yep.
the website, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah, and like always, they're going to take credit for everything. So
I sense a bit of bitterness in the boy, don't you?
I'm just happy I'm not a biologist.
if you were, I wouldn't even be talking to you.
Oh, no.
You ever tried to talk to a biologist?
It's not fun.
You learn a lot, but your ears start to bleed after a while.
Yeah.
Joey, what's happening out at Lookout Mountain Outdoors?
Well, the seasons are all done, but now we just have the drawing, so I'm sure.
Excuse me. You just said a bad word. Don't say that word.
Oh,
The drawing?
Shh.
Did you
Some
get
people I
Did
know
you get
have
tapped?
tags.
Nice.
No, but I didn't expect to get it.
And you did, Don?
I did.
Did you get an elk tag?
I did.
Nice.
Just don't know what unit. I know they extracted $270 from the bank account.
Is that That's 2 tags?
That's my daughter's first elk tag, Shannon,
Nice.
and the grandpa.
Did you put in together?
We did.
Then you're both hunting 6B, aren't you?
I hope so.
Oh, I wish you were up in 3, 4, 23, 22, any of those. You could have been
Yeah, I know.
He
Well,
goes back to the old roost.
yeah,
He does it all the time.
I know.
6B, yeah.
yeah, we'll get that over with in a day.
My 4th year in a row.
For an
Nice.
elk tag?
Just got to do the math. Now they're cow. I'm hunting cow.
Yeah.
Because I just want to. My wife wouldn't let me put a mount on the wall. If I could bring home
Excuse
For
me?
such a gorgeous
Wouldn't-
woman, what's
I-
wrong with her
Wouldn't
head?
let.
I could bring home a Pope and Young record breaker, and she'd be like, "That's nice. It's in the garage." So I just want a cow, fill the freezer full of meat, and call it good.
You just lost your man card for a week.
You know
Yeah,
what?
that's
You can't say that on the air. I don't care if it's real. You just don't admit that. Look what you're doing to all those other guys.
Major D.
Women listening to this are going to go, see, he has to, and he's with Game and Fish. You've ruined it. Stop it.
He's had a lot of coffee this morning.
When I come out, trust me, it's not over yet. When I come out to see you, I'm going to bring you a bottle of testosterone 500. You take 2 a day.
Thank you. Yeah. You'll be fine. Yeah. You'll feel like a man again.
Ow.
Man cave, family room. That's what it's called.
I hear you. But
Dominant species.
You know what? If I'm eating red meat, I feel plenty dominant and very manly. So
You're also eating the best red meat that God ever created,
pretty much.
other than horses.
So how
It's
do you
the
like
other
the
red meat.
daisies on the drapes?
They're festive and pretty.
All right, Eddie, we're going to flip in a break. We're going to call security, extract him, and I'm going to beat my chest.
You should. You got it. I got it.
Yeah, we'll be right back. All righty, we're back. Good stuff. I appreciate Scott coming down.
I do too. I hope he has his little pink flip flops so he can walk into the living room.
We should have checked for a hall pass.
I think we should have. Is he branded?
He is now.
asking.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got some man cards. I'll be sure to take a new man card to him, but it's going to have a couple clicks out of it.
Oh, that's a real good idea.
All righty. Professor Tate is in the house. We have talked about four of your 5 seminar topics.
Right.
Okay.
And we're going on 5 today.
Okay, and we're
Right.
going to talk about action.
Okay. That would be number 4. The action is number 4. Depth, speed, action, and color. Color would be the last one, Don. And so the action, most of the lure companies put action into every bait of some sort. But what we can do with that is change and modify it so much that it's unbelievable what we can do with a rattle trap or a bomber, just using old techniques and names. But
Boy, I haven't heard bomber for a while.
oh yeah, that was a big bait years and years
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Still
And,
work.
yeah, they all still work. There is so many of them that if we could get them today, we could still catch fish on them.
Absolutely.
It's all about marketing and
Very,
catching that
very,
fish.
very, very true. I get caught every time I go to Sportsman's Warehouse.
Yes, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
And I really like Sportsman's Warehouse. They have a great selection. And have you been to the one over on the west side of town yet? Sportsman's?
What do you mean? Which one? The one up off Yorkshire?
No. There's one on the west side of town.
No, I haven't been out there yet. My truck's programmed to go to
Well, mine is too. But I had to go over there
Yorkshire
and
Drive
see
and
it.
I-17 right next door to In-N-Out Burger, yep, with extra
Yeah.
cheese.
But spent a lot of money there.
Yep, good place. Well, they do a good job, and they're one of the few big box stores that actually pay attention to the anglers. You can go in there and say, hey, look, I want one of these. And if they don't have one of those, generally speaking, they'll order it in, and then everybody has one of these.
Right,
You know,
you
so-
bet. And they've got just a tremendous selection. I couldn't go to a better store for
No,
more
they
selection.
do well with all the hard baits, stick baits, soft plastic baits.
Yeah, I was in there with my last. I was doing a little bit of a seminar over there, and I cleaned out one rack with the swim baits
Yeah,
on three
Cool.
different colors. I not the majority of colors is white, and then you go into green pumpkins and
Sure.
and watermelon colors. But those are depending on what color of water you're fishing.
Oh, it has everything to do with it. So
Yeah, and as we know, we're getting a lot of run in now, and the lakes are full of trash and stuff.
UFOs.
Yeah, and some of those trees that are coming in, are 12-inch trunks in diameter, and you
Oh,
hit
yeah.
one of them with a lower
Yeah.
unit, and you're gone. I mean, you've just shot everything for the day.
All right. So, what are you going to tell us on action? Where are you going to start?
I love action.
Well, we
You apparently have had your testosterone 500 today.
I have.
Thank you.
well we can start with the built-in action, which we can increase those actions with whether it's a plastic worm or a crankbait or a spinnerbait. You speed them up, slow them down. Maybe you might torque on a spinnerbait, just torque the tip of it just a little bit, get a little more action in it. We can modify those actions so many different ways, and to explain it to someone over the the radio here is kind of hard because I just tried to explain
Explain
some
it to him.
Come on. You're on.
Okay. Well, with a spinnerbait,
Yep.
just take your needle nose plier and put it right at the end and recup it a little bit more, and you'll just change the action of that and get so much vibration. It's unbelievable.
Wait a minute. Where do you do that?
That's on the spinner blade itself. Say it's a Colorado, or a Indiana blade, one of the round ones.
Right.
Just take your needle nose pliers and just torque it a little bit until you get the action you want, and then you can feel that thump.
I don't want
So
the action
don't.
I want the action the bass wants.
Well, the more sound you put through the water, the more attraction you're going to get, especially in muddy water.
So am I
And-
screaming when I'm in the lake in a kayak?
Yeah, yeah.
That attracts them.
But yeah, and then you go to the plastic worms. You got the inserts, which you can put rattles in the plastic
Right,
worms,
right.
Yep.
and all of that. I very seldom use them. I like the silent mode, and I want my sinker to be my contact with the bottom. So sometimes I use a metal one.
So something like Larry the Lizard and a 6 or 8 10-inch lizard with a rattle in it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
those are inserts.
Well, they've got the pro rattle and
I-
worm too. You don't like those?
Yeah, those are good. There's nothing wrong with them. I'll use any of those baits.
We should have had the 10-inch lizards for Joey back there in
Yeah.
Texas.
That's-
Oh, absolutely.
What were you throwing back there for your bass?
Lizards, giant lizards,
Giant lizards.
and 7-inch worms.
Wow.
Initially, not catching anything. The guys using spinner baits because the water was a little cloudy. But as it started to clear, then I dominated them.
It's dominated.
Yeah, the worming and that's from shore. And I'd much rather worm from a boat pulling away from shore. So I have a little technique. I mean, I reach way out and pop that worm up because you're dragging uphill, the bait.
I have to ask. I saw a couple of photographs, and I think your pictures are probably up on the website by now. But did you have your snake boots on?
I did not.
They look pretty snaky there.
Yeah.
Very. Where we were fishing, a lot of water moccasins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they were.
They're friendly. You can see their mouth when they open up
Yeah,
wide.
yeah, but no rattlesnakes, which was unusual for typically they were out, but this time, they were not. And by far the biggest average rattlesnakes I've ever seen in my life. These things are like anacondas with rattlers on them.
Bad. Don't go there. Don't say those words. I don't want to hear them.
But with that thick brush like that and all the little critters running in there, yeah, snakes are going to get big, and they are. They're huge, thickest snakes I've ever seen in my life.
Wow. And this is where you made Valerie walk in front of you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just checking.
That there's a misnomer about that.
Well, no.
The second
Actually,
person
there's
through-
not a misnomer. He gets a gold star on his man card.
No, because the second person through is usually the one that gets bit.
Wakes the snake up.
Yeah, that's probably
That
true.
is true. And they told me that a number of times when I was doing the deer survey. We had put
Well, you're just taking all the fun out of me.
no when we were doing the deer survey, I asked the kids from Texas Tech if they wore gaiters, and they said no, those get too darn hot. This is like 90 degrees in the morning when we were starting off, was the cool portion of the day. And they said that the second person and the third person through are the ones that usually have to work, because the first one is blowing past and the snake doesn't have time to get scared. But the second one, you're primed. And I'm looking at it going, oh, I'm going way back. I'm going to be like number 5 in this line, in this little conga line. I don't care. I'm not being number 2. And that's how they do it. And they don't wear gaiters. So
The ranch manager down there collects rattlesnakes, and he sells them to the college in San Antonio. And that's when we first got a real look at these snakes. And hey, Fidel, what's in the bag? He said, oh, rattlesnakes. I said, you want to see them? So I figured he was going to open the bag, and we could. He dumps them on the ground right in front of us. Oh, yeah. Dumps them on the ground.
that does tend to get them a bit irate.
And 3 of us were backing up with our eyes bulged out. Everybody there just went, you got to be kidding. These are the biggest rattlesnakes, thickest snakes I've
as
ever
well
seen.
as I know you, I'm sure that's exactly what you said. Oh, you got to be kidding. Yeah, whatever.
There would be a different vernacular.
But then I hear him on his cell phone talking to some guy, and he said, yeah, they're all under 3 feet. I promise you, they're small. And he gets off the phone. I said, Fidel, who are you talking to? He said, oh, professor at the college. He buys these snakes from me. I said, you told him they were under 3 feet? He goes, yeah, but if he drives 70 miles down here, he's going to buy them from me. He'll be mad at me, but he'll buy them from me.
Oh,
How long was it?
captive audience.
Did you get any of them 8 foot?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
There are some big ones.
Yeah, how would you rate the action on a 12 or 14-inch rattlesnake?
Very cautiously.
Oh, okay.
They tend to flick that tail like 1,000 times a minute. You want sound?
Not when they're in the not when
Not
they're in
when
the
they're
water.
wet.
No, not when they're wet. No.
No. It's and speaking of that, they do get on our boats and when we're on the water. So you have to be careful out there at this time of the year. The snakes are coming out. Be careful.
All righty, that said, we're going to flip into a break, come back, more on action. Top of the hour, we're going to get into hog hunting in Texas with our good buddy Joy from Lookout Mountain Outdoors. And I don't know what JK is going to do. There's just absolutely no telling. I'm Don McDowell.
Special K.
Joe Nocta.
Jerry Tate.
We'll be back.
To help them all that he can, to make them feel wanted. He's a good holy man.
Yeah, man, we're back.
Yeah.
All righty. So as far as action is concerned, we're buying stock out of the box. Crankbaits, stick baits, spinner blades, soft plastics don't have any action unless the angler's manipulating it. How important is cadence? Let's talk about right now. Spinner baits, good bait. Crankbaits, especially hard stick baits. What kind of a cadence are you recommending on, say, a bandit? Not the square bill, but a round bill that'll run 8 feet.
I would use stop and go this time of the year.
Okay.
Also with the stick baits, working those. is the same way, but I like to get them down about 5 to 8 feet, whatever that magic number is, and we have to determine that through a few casts. And then once you do it, then you can pull out the right one.
Well, one of the things that kicks in on reaction baits, like crankbaits and stick baits, is your reel speed and gear ratio. We've talked about that a little bit. So let's stick with that little bandit. Happened to be one of my favorites that runs about 8 feet deep. What kind of a gear ratio you're recommending for your bait caster?
I like to go with the higher speed ones, the high speed one. And the reason is I can slow that retrieve down. I can do.
What do you think? Up in the 7s or 6-3 to 1?
6-3 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, when it comes to the reels and stuff, regardless, I can change the rhythm myself and slow down and speed up.
Sure.
And so you control that. But if you get the real slow one, you can't. Boy, you really have to wind up real quick to get that vibration that you're looking for. And when I was watching you with your bandit, I really pretty good at observing someone using a tool like that. And you were pretty much holding it at a very steady speed coming in, and you'd stop it now and then, just a little bit. It wasn't complete stop, but you'd slow it down. And that creates that reaction.
Or give it a twitch with the rod.
That's correct.
Anything to break up that.
I noticed that you had a fairly limber rod for casting, and that.
You know, one of the things that I've gone back to is old school, and I really especially on crankbaits, I've got a fiberglass stick. It's not a composite, and it goes back to the year 2000 or so. It's about the size of a pool cue, but I tell you what, you can chunk a crankbait way out there, and you can feel every wobble on that bait, which is interesting because, as you know, a bass will come up and he'll make a pass in front of that, and if the wobble stops, you need to swing. He's either got it in his mouth or he's right in front of it, one or the other.
And that's so many people miss those kind of fish because that stops, and they say, well, it just stopped, but they need to set the hook, and can take that in their mouth and reject it, and you not even know it.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with a lot of the lizards, like Joe was using in Texas. So many people, when they lose the feel, there's something happen. It's inside the mouth of a fish.
Joey, what kind of a technique were you using on those lizards? You said you were dragging uphill. How long did it take you to?
I was bouncing it off the bottom, and it's just a feel. I mean, you end up knowing when that fish has got that lizard or worm in its mouth.
Bottom bouncing.
And it's time to set that hook now. But
boy.
I think the difference between a spinner bait and a worm is they still don't know if they can eat that worm or not. They don't like that metal when they get it in their mouth. But that worm, they'll take it, I think, a little longer, which gives you, I think, a little better opportunity to set the hook.
How aggressive was the bite? Were they just whacking it, or were they just picking it up?
Most of the time, no. But we've been down there, and basically, you're sitting on a little dam wall that they built, and you're sitting above the nests. So as you're pulling your worm out of the water, we've literally had 5-pound bass come out of the water.
Oh, wow.
And I'm telling you, it's uncontrollable. You will jump 3 feet in the air.
No doubt.
When it happens.
Okay, what kind of line were you using? Monofilament?
I've used everything this last trip. I had braid on, and I can feel everything with that braid. Absolutely everything.
It's amazing how that braid intenses the feel of everything. I don't care whether it's a jerk bait or a surface bait. If I'm skipping a bait like a fluke up underneath the trees, then I want my monofilament because that's what you need. But with the braided lines, so many people, once they learn how to use it, they increase their catch 100-fold.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It even the sound on the rod And then the guide sounds different with that braid. I mean, it's just
sure.
it's completely different. But man, you can feel every boat.
Yeah, you can hear the braid just absolutely wearing out your line guides.
Well, and they do that. That's one of the things with braid, because braid is going to collect a little bit of the soil in the water, and it's going to sand those
abrasion.
guides down.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's abrasion. So, after you use one for a while, you might as well chunk it and go get another one.
Well,
Another
there's
what?
that's a
Yeah, or
discussion.
put eyes on it, re-eye it, yeah.
Yeah, re-eye it. Yeah,
That's a
mine's
discussion
going up
we've
there.
had, and we can have that again at the bottom of the next hour with James Guggenauer. I've gone back to, if I want to have something re-eyed, I'm going back to stainless steel. I've had it with ceramic and all this new crap that's out there. It's just all my saltwater rods. I've had up to Mr. Guggenauer, and he's replaced them with stainless steel. They last longer. They're
Absolutely.
just as good, performance-wise as the ceramic. And, he's spanked me 47 times because I'll take, the ceramic guide pops out. So you put it back in with super glue, and you get, that doesn't make Mr. Guggenauer real happy.
No.
Fenwick come out with a lot of those rods with the stainless steel eyes in them. This was probably about 10, 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a real good sensitive rod, but you have to watch those eyes. And you know how I check them? There's a cotton ball.
Excuse me?
Just a little cotton ball, put it in the eye and twist it. If any threads catch, you've
Then
got
you
it
know
marked.
you got a problem.
You've got a problem. So
I hadn't thought of that.
Interesting.
little things like that takes us a long ways.
Yeah, buddy.
So you don't use braid, Don?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Every chance I get, I'm a braid guy. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, we have a little roll call to talk about today, and we don't have any fallen soldiers to speak of. However, we do have one fallen law enforcement officer. John, if you would.
Yeah, police officer Houston James Largo of the Navajo Division of Public Safety Tribal Police. Sunday, March 12th, age 27. Officer Largo succumbed to gunshot wounds sustained the previous night while responding to a domestic violence call along County Road 19 in Casimiro Lake, New Mexico. Shooting occurred at approximately 11 p.m. He was flown to the University of New Mexico Hospital, where he passed the following afternoon. The subject was taken into custody. Officer Largo had served with the Navajo Division of Public Safety for 5 years.
Wow, that is indeed unfortunate. The Arizona Military Vehicle Collectors Club has lost one of our members, Roy Colliette. Passed away on the 8th. He was involved with the club for a number of years and have volunteered almost all of our events. And if you've been to any of those events, you will remember his it's a M151 Mutt dressed up in Navy colors, and either that or you'll know Roy from Turf Soaring School at Pleasant Harbor. He founded the school and was one of the top soaring schools in the nation. And he was also responsible for building the Pleasant Valley Airport. And due to all of his contributions to aviation, he was enshrined in the Pima Air and Space Museum in 2004. Services for Roy were yesterday at Turf Soaring School. So he's going to be missed, and as always, to the fallen LEO, our heartfelt condolences and sympathies go out to him, his family, and certainly his fellow officers. I'm Don McDowell.
It's time for the award-winning Shake, Rattle, and Troll. A show for the serious fishermen as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros.
We got the power, we got the speed. We're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Freshwater, saltwater, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. It's me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
All righty. Hey, welcome to the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. JK's in the house, the president of the ADA and the AZSFWC.
And the AZBGSR.
Wonderful. and
Acronym City.
Safeguard Business Systems.
Yep.
Nice. Joy Notch is here from Lookout Mountain Outdoors. Professor Tate is in the house talking about action. And speaking of action, I want to get right to Joy. We'll get back to bass fishing or integrate bass fishing into this particular tale. Tell me about whacking free-range bacon, downtown Texas.
Well, I mean, people that have been to Texas, they get it done in a different way. You know,
They do what's necessary.
yeah, they do. You know, they'll however you want to do it. They'll put you in a stand. Feeders go off. Pigs come out, and you shoot. After they get a lot of pressure, things can change. And obviously, they had quite a bit of pressure when we got there, so it was a lot more difficult than normal.
All right, as far as the geography is concerned, about where are you, roughly?
I'd say 70, 75 miles southeast of San Antonio.
How far from the border?
About that same distance, I would imagine, or a little less. But we managed to, I ended up getting one with a handgun, which totally surprised me because I do not shoot
Did you say a ham gun?
Well, pretty much. Pretty much.
It's a ham hunt, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then Valerie ended up, we actually did a spot and stock, which was kind of cool, from a power line cut, glassed them up and got her down there, worked on them, and she ended up taking one with a 25-06.
Yikes.
So, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted to come home with 2 hogs. Now, the other people there I know they wanted more, but then you have to clean all those things and take care of them.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of work.
So Duncan, one of the guys that went down with us, he ended up getting 3 in one evening, actually late evening before dark, so he didn't. And he had his work cut out for him.
Now, were you guys being fairly selective on the size animal you were harvesting, or was it just whatever you could get the crosshairs on?
I was very selective. I'd say 65, 70 pounds to 90 is what they claim is the perfect size hog. Yeah.
Okay.
So we concentrated on that.
Then how big a hogs were you seeing? What was the biggest one, you think? There's some bruisers running loose down there.
This last trip, probably 2 to 225, but I've seen one hog down there. You could put a saddle on him and ride him. I mean,
Nice.
I mean, huge. I would say well over 400 pounds.
Wow.
I'm talking. I thought it was beef coming in. I mean, it was just massive, and I didn't shoot it because our target animal that was our first trip. I probably should have shot this thing.
Yes, you should have.
Absolutely.
It's making a whole lot more little bacon running around.
Yes,
boy.
But yeah, this last trip I didn't see anything that size, but they're around. They're there. You know, they're. We went to another property, and that's where Duncan was taken, where obviously hasn't had any pressure, and he, 3 in one evening, and he could have taken more.
Now, did they have you set up in grind blinds, or were you just out? You mentioned spot and stock. I get that part, but
Well, we put Valerie in a stand, and that just wasn't working. I mean, they're used to it. They're going to come out when it's pitch black, and unfortunately,
well, she's in a stand. How do you keep her awake?
Well, that she's on her own.
Okay.
Or you take a BB gun at long range and
Wake her up.
Oh, I'm going to catch y'all for that.
Yes, you are.
So we ended up, the way we got it done, I'd much prefer anyway. I mean, we glassed them up, got a stock on
There
her,
you go, yeah.
got her close, and another one-shot kill for her. So it all worked out. Duncan was
you
happy.
mentioned shooting using a ham gun. What caliber did you take down there?
I had a 41 mag.
41.
Model 57 Smith & Wesson I've had for up to 10 years.
Brutal caliber.
It is. It's great caliber. I'd like to be able to shoot it better, but hey, you know what? I got lucky, and I'll take it.
How far a shot did you get?
We paced it off at 95.
That's unbelievable with a handgun.
Yikes.
And that's witnessed. So could I do that again? Probably not. But actually, I was going to shoot another one, and this one was trying to get back up. And as he was lifting up, I put a dirt cloud behind him, so I know I wasn't too far off at that distance. So, but the first shot just collapsed him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming a better pistol shot, Don.
You never know.
Would you aim about a foot high?
No, I actually probably was at the top of his back.
His back?
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's the first thing I've ever hit with a handgun. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, just stop right there.
Don't do
right now,
anymore.
it doesn't get any better.
The bacon's on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, so have you had an opportunity to taste the meat?
Actually, this evening will be the first time that
What are you going to eat?
we're going to try a little hodgepodge, but I've had the ribs ready to go for quite some time. So the ribs are going to get. We're going to try some ribs out tonight, and
Where's the? Come on, keep going. You're all invited out to our. Jeez, Joey.
Work him, JK. Work him.
Trying. I didn't hear the invite, Joey.
well, I'll tell you what. If this goes good, you guys want to try hog meat out, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm smelling barbecue over the
I
back
am
of
too.
Lookout Mountain Outdoors.
You know, Dave's Barbecue has all that sauce. I can always walk off with one of those.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Be right over it, Joey. I do know my way out there.
Apparently, Duncan has already tried some, and he was shooting hogs a little bigger than what we did, and he said it was phenomenal.
What was his weapon of choice?
He was using a 308.
Wow, that's pretty heavy.
Well, I mean, it's put some.
Ideally, if you had the opportunity to take the ideal hog weapon, what would it be?
You pretty much any center fire rifle is going to get it done. I've seen guys use 243s. Valerie used a 25-06.
How about a brand new one fired 22-250?
That'd get it done.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it'll get it done. It's a little smaller of a hole, but it'll get it done.
We'll pop it through it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing that didn't work, Duncan was just really set to get one with a 9mm carbine, and
Really?
he probably shot at the biggest hog that was seen on the trip, and all it did was I think bruise the side of him.
How about
And that
well,
was
speaking of carbines, how about that 45 ACP carbine? Would that work? Or a little bit?
I think at close range, yes.
Yeah,
but
close range.
I think he was out a little further than what he should have been, and at 45 is pretty slow,
Yeah.
even
yeah,
coming out of a carbine.
50, 60, 65 yards. It's-
Max.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that said, when we come back, we'll just turn this over to JK.
Thank you.
Nice.
About time.
We'll be right back.
Don't go away. More of Shake, Rattle, and Troll is coming up.
You know, tuna fishing doesn't have to be time-consuming or expensive. Fish the Malahini, the three-quarter-day premier sport boat out of H&M Landing, San Diego. Yep, over on the left coast. Malahini has a long and proud tradition of dependable service, and with the goal of your success on the water. Captains Bill Wilkerson, Mike Schmidt, and Mike Zayak will utilize their extensive skills and the latest technology to put you on fish. The tuna season is in full swing right now. Yeah, right now. Spend a day on the water on the premier three-quarter-day sport fishing boat on the left coast, Malahini Sport Fishing. Don't miss the boat or the fish. Book Malahini now at hmlanding.com or call them at 619-222-1144. Hey, I'm Don McDowell, and I fish Malahini.
He's back. Glenn Sheldon, famed bow technician, returns to bow wrenching. The former Wild West archery technician is one of the best bow wrenchers in the Southwest. Glenn Sheldon is back working on bows with big game hunter Joe Nacha at Lookout Mountain Outdoors. If you bought a bow or had a bow worked on by Glenn, then you know his quality workmanship. If not, you're missing the mark. Glenn repairs and tunes any brand of bows, including crossbows. See Glenn at Lookout Mountain Outdoors, 17232 North Cave Creek Road, 2 blocks north of Bell Road on Cave Creek Road.
H&M Landing, the oldest and finest sports fishing landing on the West Coast since 1935. H&M's premier sports fishing fleet has over 30 sport fishing boats to choose from for 1/2, 3/4 day, or extended long-range trips, everything to make your deep-sea adventure a trip of a lifetime. Rent or bring your own gear. Book now at hmlanding.com or call them at 619-222-1144. H&M Landing, San Diego, California, where the weather and fishing are always great. H&M Landing.
Thanks for calling Grand Avenue Mini Storage. We are located at 3636 West Grand Avenue. We have units ranging from 4 foot by 4 foot all the way up to a 20 by 20. Yes, sir. I do think the 4 foot by 4 foot will hold all of your IRS crashed hard drives. No, sir. I don't think the 20 by 20 will hold all the people the White House has thrown under the bus, but do have room for that bus. Grand Avenue Mini Storage. Call us at 602-246-0680. 602-246-0680.
This segment of Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Gun Protect. Total corrosion protection for your weapons and ammo at the molecular level. For more information, visit mygunprotect.com.
All righty, we're back. Got a lot of stuff going on today. You had some questions?
I did. For the listeners, you had an excursion Tuesday. You spent most of the day Tuesday at Trump Wall.
Indeed.
Actually. And I was looking at some of the notes that you put together, and we've had a lot of discussion about what transpired on Tuesday. But just to give people the background, we have in Arizona a line of demarcation that sportsmen need to be aware of in terms of being careful where you're hunting, when you're hunting, south of Tucson. And it extends basically all the way from the New Mexico line all the way to the California line. And we've got 25 to 30,000 square miles that can potentially be a danger zone. And Don, you went with Border Patrol Agent Paco, and you spent the day with him. And some of the things that we've talked about, I've got more questions, okay? You were actually glassing for what we call, for lack of a better term, bodies, but the illegals or people who, not necessarily illegals, I'm not going to say immigrants because these aren't really immigrants. These are drug runners, right?
Well, there's two factions. You have border jumpers, which are people trying to make it across on their own or being guided, being smuggled in. And then, you got those two groups, and you never know what you have. And then you've got the cartel and the drug smugglers, which is a whole nother can of worms.
Now, some of the photos that were taken, I saw you actually you were there when they detained people who were running.
Yeah, we got into a couple of things, JK. We went up and visited one of the electronic surveillance trucks they had right on the border, actually west of Lukeville. And we climbed up on top of the hill, and I started glassing around, and first thing we picked up was a cartel lookout who was watching us, and then
you were watching him, watching you, watching him, watching you.
Exactly. And no, we weren't allowed to be armed, which was a concern up to a point. And I hadn't really thought about it. And then, Cat Thor was with us as our security chief. Paco was armored up with body armor, and,
You felt a little naked without any body armor?
Yeah, the thought went through my head. I was going, I wonder if he's got a 308.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, then we started glassing west and picked up two bodies moving north. There was a small barrier, not a people barrier, but a vehicle barrier off of just the north side of Mexican Highway 2. We picked up two bodies.
That's the cement, the steel posts that they have buried in the ground, right?
Yeah, it's a cross between a Normandy barrier and something that's, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty meaningless. Because what the guys are doing down there, they're, as an example, they'll steal a vehicle transport,
yep,
take the ramps off, put the ramps up on the fence and drive whatever it is, a truck,
right
over the fence, and away they go north.
Yeah.
So anyway, we picked up guys just under a mile, 0.9 miles away. Earlier that morning, we had some radio traffic that we were monitoring. The unmanned Predator drone, Omaha 10, picked up bodies early in the morning, moving north from the border. I'd say probably 20 miles inside the O'odham Nation. We monitored that all day, and then late in the afternoon, we got a call, and we rolled in on that. And there was 8 drug mules that were detained, captured, along with 10 bales of pot, marijuana that was, I'm going to guess probably somewhere between 400 and 500 pounds.
That's a lot of weed.
Judging from the weight, yeah. And I think the big cognition is those guys were taking one hell of a risk going in there. We learned a lot, on how they do it. Why, not necessarily why they do it. There's a paycheck involved somewhere between $1,800 and $2,100 for this particular group per head, had they been successful. But I think the key thing that was a major cognition for me is those guys have enough food and water to make a one-way trip.
Yes.
Okay. So we're on the reservation there. Obviously, they're being resupplied by somebody that lives there. Not pointing any fingers, but rumor has it a lot of the locals are. All you have to do on this deal is follow the money trail.
Sure.
Okay. So one of the other major issues that we had discussion on, and we're looking into this certainly a lot deeper, are what's called RIP, R-I-P, RIP crews. These are guys that are not affiliated with the cartel. They're independent. We're going to call them land-based pirates or banditos, if you will.
And here's a question that I had when you mentioned that these RIP crews are basically taking, they're accosting the drug runners. They're taking their supplies, for lack of a better term, or contraband or drugs, whatever you want to call it, and they're ripping them off. But my concern would be that these mules, when they get back to Mexico and they inform the cartels that they were ripped off at gunpoint by somebody up here, there's going to be retribution.
There is. The drug cartel, they have RIP crew assassins that are not hauling anything other than weapons that are charged with taking these guys out. They're called sicarios.
So they're shadowing the mules.
Yeah, and this has been a problem going on for a couple of years now. There's little or no mention of it in the media, hardly ever at all, about these shootouts. Game and Fish has been having some issues with them just south of I-8. We're looking into some other stuff. We'll be running the Sierra Vista area. I was going to do that on the 13th, but because we have the work project coming up on the 15th, we're going to bump that to the following week, probably the 25th through the 27th. We'll be running down there, talking to some of these sheriff's office guys down south. And, a lot of this stuff, as I start to get into my research, we're having some big issues just north of I-8, up around Mobile, Maricopa, down by Casa Grande is a hot spot. So, that demarcation line needs to be moved back up to
further north.
Let's say, Phoenix city limits. It's not safe out there. But one of the cool things is the Border Patrol's really interested in being an asset to the sportsmen. I'm interested in putting the protocol out, which we got from Agent Paco, and we ran with Grace and Larry Grace, their land liaison officer, and another.
Basically, they're trying to help us help them, or more to the succinct and more to the point is that we need to know how to behave down there, because you're not acting as you normally do. You have to take some precautions, as well as advising the Border Patrol you're there.
Look, here's the deal. They have guns. We have guns. Sometimes we know who they are. Most of the time, they don't know who we are.
Right.
You take the average hunter, and I'll pick on myself, Joy, Jerry, yourself. We're out there. We're armored up. We're camoed up. 9 times out of 10, we're carrying a backpack, which is a dead giveaway to those guys. Oh, backpack, warning. So if we're not on the road in a vehicle and we have an encounter out in the field, it's going to be tense until everybody figures out who everybody is. As Mike Valdez is coming down. Mike's a deer hunter, born and raised in Tucson, lives up here now, was down by Sierra Vista, which is one of the reasons we're going to run Sierra Vista. And they had set up a nice camp, a couple of Ford trucks down there, and, general deer hunt camp.
Right.
They're asleep, midnight or so. They hear a footfall outside, pitter-patter little feet. They lock, load, exit the tent with flashlights and guns drawn and hammers back. And there's 4 guys out there that they can't identify. Well, it was the Border Patrol. They were looking for bad guys, and here you have hunters with guns trained on the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol's got guns trained on the hunters. Nobody knows who anybody, because the Border Patrol, and I don't blame them. They're not going, "Hi, it's us, the Border Patrol."
Yeah.
They're doing their job, and look, we need to do a better job. We're putting out a phone number. You can call the Public Affairs Office before you go down on your hunt. Tell them, "Hey, I'm Joey. I'm driving this big, obnoxious F-250. It's a white one. It's got a dent in the right front fender, and here's my license plate number, and there's going to be 4 of us down here. We're going to be camped at 36B right off of this road over here, so be nice.
We're going to be there.
It's just courtesy. It's helping those guys help ourselves. The other protocol was discussed was, what do we do when we encounter illegals that may or may not be armed? And as far as I'm concerned, anybody I meet out there is going to have a gun until proven otherwise. May or may not be drug cartel. You don't know. We're going to talk to Pete about that, in the next week or two. He's had some hairball encounters. But the main thing is, don't try to capture and detain these guys, which is what's going on.
Seriously.
I mean, we've got some amped up hunters.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we can catch them and hold them. Well, don't do that. Here's the deal. They may be in the country illegally. They have more rights than we do as sportsmen and citizens. ACLU will jump all over that crap. They'll lawyer up. And I mean, if you hurt one of them, you're done.
Yeah.
You're just done.
You're going to be sued forever.
Yeah.
Just so we're still talking, this is the United States of America, right? State of Arizona?
John, I'm going to make a statement here that's going to piss a lot of people off. We're going to go after the Democrats. We're in a third world situation. We've got a sovereign nation within the sovereign nation of the United States that's abutted to a foreign nation, which is a big part of this. It's the Tana O'odham. It's as big as Connecticut.
I know.
And they
It's
don't
huge.
care.
No.
They don't care about us. They don't care about themselves. All you have to do is follow the money trail. And it goes right down to middle of that place.
Wonderful trip, Donnie.
Yeah, that said, we'll be back with building the bass rod. We'll be right
The
back.
morning's kinda damp. I'm not worried about cutting the grass. Left my truck at the boat ramp and my boat is full of gas. My old boss thinks I'm sick today. He won't have me to harass. 'Cause I'm out here on the river and he can kiss my big old bass. Kiss my bass.
Yeah, man. James Guggenauer, how are you, my friend?
Great up here in Payson. What a beautiful weekend we're having here.
No, I just bet it is.
Hey, I get fishing reports from guys every week. This past week, I must have talked to 10 anglers every day. And let me start with the saltwater fishing. I was listening earlier with your saltwater reports. Some longtime friends of mine down in the valley, Brian Franklin, Kemp Ellis, and Kenny Holt, they went with 5 other guys out of Puerto Penasco last weekend. In one-day trip, they boated over 60 yellowtail, a whole bunch of Dorado, and they capped it off with a 15-foot Waco shark.
Nice.
And got pictures of all of it. It is.
Where did they go out of? I didn't catch that.
Puerto Penasco.
Puerto Penasco.
On Rocky Point.
Yeah, buddy. Okay.
They got a house down there and big trips down there all the time. But And fishing's always good down there. I said it was just flat water all day, and just a beautiful day to be on the water. But 60 yellowtail, 8 guys. So it's
nice. Joe, you've got friends down in Port Penasco, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Yeah, Rocky Point.
Yeah, people that have like mobile homes, they pull down there and they park for.
I thought you had somebody down there with a boat.
No, that was San Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, James.
Sure. Hey, there were 2 bass fishing tournaments on Roosevelt yesterday. The Let's Talk Fishing tournament was down there. The winner of that tournament, the winning team, had over 12 pounds for their fish, and the ABA tournament was over 14 pounds for their tournament. They're camping at spring break time, so camping at Orange Peel and Bermuda Flats is 3 deep. You can't even put an RV near the water down there. That's how bad it is.
You gotta. How come? Hey, when we were kids, how come we didn't have spring break? Did you ever have spring break?
No.
You?
I never even heard of spring break till I came out here.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Hey, the Bassmaster Classic is coming up this weekend, the 24th through the 26th. We have Brett Height, Dean Rojos, and Cliff Perch from Arizona. They're all down there right now pre-fishing for that tournament, and you can catch that online at Bassmaster.com later in the week. The Super Bowl bass fishing.
Yes, it is.
Hey, so Roosevelt Lake is up to 66% full this week and went up another percent. And, here on Shake, Rattle, and Troll, we don't like to give specific baits out or, give anglers too much of a hint on how to catch fish. But the reports I received this weekend were white lipless crankbaits, white super flukes, white paddle-tail swim baits, white crankbaits, white chatterbaits, whatever you're using this weekend, and even if you're fishing Cincos or robo-worms, it's got to be white. Water's still kind of stained, but if there was one consistent thing that was this week from all the anglers, it was the color white.
Imagine that.
Yep. Fish are spawning. We had the full moon last week, and they are up there. Tons of guys doing sight fishing. If you're not very good at sight fishing or you're kind of inexperienced at it, try behind the marina up at Roosevelt Lake. There's a big spawning flat there, and the water's pretty shallow. I was there yesterday, and it's clearing up a little bit, so you can kind of see a foot or maybe a foot and a half into the water. So if you want to go practice, that would be the place to go learn to do that.
I happen to know a guy that would throw a white curly-tailed grub.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Jerry? Is
Absolutely.
Does Jerry have a smile on his face?
Yeah, he just got to kick me under the table here.
Yeah. Hey, and then,
Nice.
if you do sight fish and you catch fish off a bed, I mean, it's exciting. The fish are very aggressive. But don't forget, get a photograph of that fish and get it right back in the water as soon as you can. It's critical this time of year to catch and release.
Absolutely.
Okay, good
water
stuff.
temperature down at the lake is 65 degrees. What's critical about that is it means that the male crappie are moving up onto their beds. I got reports this week that up on the Tonto end especially, that they're starting to spawn. Now, crappie turn black, a real gloss black with green dots this time of year. And so you can see them in the water pretty easily. But it's starting. I'm thinking in another week or 10 days, it's going to be hot for crappie fishing, too.
How deep are they spawning in?
Crappie will go a little bit deeper. You can see them 10 feet, even down to 15 feet. And the trick is you know this, Mr. Tate, is look for the darkest spot that you can find. If you see a submerged log, don't just throw to the log. Look for the darkest area around that log, because that's where they're going to be. And if that's anywhere from 10 to 15 feet down, or even as far down as you can see, that's where they're going to be.
Hang on just a second. Joy, back in Texas, I know you're fishing some farm or ranch ponds. What was the temperature, do you think, and what was your clarity?
Initially, clarity was poor in the main lake, and the fishing was horrible. And then when the smaller ponds, which we actually helped Fidel stock those ponds several years ago with big females, but the smaller ponds cleared quicker. Initially, spinner baits were working the best, and then once they started hitting the worms, then I put a whooping on them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nothing better than whipping. Yeah, okay. All right, back to you, James.
That sounds a lot like Roosevelt. When you can get into the clearer water or not quite so stained, robo worms, Cinco worms are just deadly in those applications. When you move to where there's dirtier water, like we have in the backs of some of the coves, or where there's not necessarily fresh water coming in, you need something that's making a little bit of noise. A chatterbait, spinnerbait, Rapala kind of crankbait that'll make some noise for you. And those things seem to be proven really good this past week.
Interesting. I'm surprised the weights weren't a little heavier off those two tournaments.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Don. Man, I'll tell you what, it's so nice talking to experienced fishermen. I think what that reflects is, the spawning's just starting. We had our first full moon. The water temperature didn't get right until a couple of days before that full moon. So I would look from now until the next full moon in April to see bigger weights coming there. But that was kind of mentioned by some of the anglers yesterday too.
Yeah, I would suspect somewhere between 18 and 22 pounds that we're going to be staring that in the face next month.
Did they get any smallmouth?
I didn't hear any smallmouth there, Jerry, but down there on Apache, to answer both of your questions, smallmouth are going crazy down on Apache. And if you want 18 pounds for 5 fish, you want to be on Apache for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting.
But wonderful fishing. I mean, just everybody's got a broken fishing rod in March. I can tell you that right now. I've been up till midnight fixing fishing rods for guys who need them for a tournament on the next weekend. So it's a busy time of year for everybody.
Yeah, it is. We were talking about braid and some of the other things. What are your what's your opinion on stainless steel guides versus the ceramic?
I'm a ceramic guy. Stainless are okay. But if I'm going to a high-quality ceramic, I'll clarify that. If I was going to have one for sensitivity, for smoothness, for ability to cast accurately long distance, I mean, I don't think you can beat like an alkanite type of guide, or even the silicone carbide inserts. I mean, they're as hard as steel, and they're so good that I tell people that if their line abrades that guide, I'll replace it for free. And I can tell you, I've never replaced one yet.
Really?
The guide went through.
All right.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's the ones you prefer over all the other guides, right?
Yes,
For braid?
Yes, I think for guys that use braided line, I'm probably in the 90% where I'm using alkanite inserts on those. And those are mostly Fuji guides. And if you're buying a top-end fishing rod, whether it's a production rod or a custom rod, you're probably going to have a Fuji product on there anyway. It's going to have the alkanite or silicone carbide.
Interesting. All right. You got any questions?
No, I'm good. Weather's good up there. It's been great. We need a little more cold weather, though.
More snow.
More snow. Yeah. Rain would be helpful now.
Do you think we're going to hit 80% on Roosevelt?
They're still saying that. Keep your fingers crossed. We get another one of those late spring storms. That's what we're kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
All righty. All right. We're going to wish you the best of the NASCAR this afternoon. Big Mike's after me again. Man. God love you, James. Great job, buddy.
This is the end, beautiful friend.
All righty, we're back. We're about to get this thing wrapped up. It pains me to say, but yes, I have to wear the Danica Patrick shirt today because Junior just sucked last week.
Last week only? No.
Oh yeah,
Let's start
the week
going
before
backwards
that.
in time.
I got to tell you, Mike's all over. I know he's headed out to PIR. He's got tickets and won't share. So shame on you, Mike. And Chase Elliott, I got to hand it to that guy. That Chase Elliott is going to be the next Jeff Gordon. He's about the right size for it. So, yeah, he's all over. And did you see the post race where Kyle Busch got his lights punched out?
I didn't see that. I didn't see clips of it. I wish I had.
Yeah, well, he was swapping paint a little bit with Joey Logano, and I watched the replays and flashbacks and all that. It was Bush's fault. He came down on Logano and got sideways, went sliding down through the pits on the last lap, jumps out of his car, takes a swing at Logano, and Logano's pit crew beat the crap out of Kyle Busch. He got up mumbling, slobbering, and his forehead was split open, bleeding.
And where was Bush's pit crew? They just left him alone.
Yeah, you're on your own.
You're on your own, buddy.
Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be pretty interesting today out at the short track. But anyway, Mike, I've got the shirt, but I'm also going to wear my 88 hat. So
you can do
camouflage and blue kind of cash. Joy, what's going on over at Lookout Mountain? What do we need to know? And all the good stuff that's going there.
Well,
you're making strings. You got the best boat tech on the planet.
Mark Echeverria, who's been doing custom strings forever. The guy's using the absolute top-notch materials that you can get your hands on. And we're getting out custom strings in as little as 2 days.
Really?
Yeah, so for the most part, a guy can come in, drop his bow off. Mark comes in, builds the strings, starts stretching them, and put the bow back together. So sometimes it could take a little longer than that, but, I mean, you're after custom strings to be able to come in. You can't carry strings for every bow made and every draw length.
Exactly.
Made. So
exactly.
That's a real plus. Mark's been building a lot of strings. We got Glenn.
Do you guys use custom strings or strings out of a tube?
Strings out of a tube.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You?
Whatever is on my compound is what stays there. And if I have to have it taken, if it gets frayed, I just take it into Sportsman's Warehouse and I have them restring.
You don't take it to Lookout Mountain Outdoors?
I haven't, because I haven't touched it in 5 years. I've hunted once in 5 years.
I happen to be good friends with the Wounded Warrior program. Stab him right in the left thigh.
We're doing a lot of recurves, too. Kind of getting, I guess, known because there's not a lot of people specializing in the recurve. So I make sure we have 15, 20, different recurves in stock. And they actually been going very well.
Super.
Yeah.
If I ever get drawn again, Joey, I will have you tune my bow. But
no, you won't.
Keep passing you.
You want Glenn Sheldon tuning
your bow.
Yeah.
He'll do it, but I'll bring it up to you.
Look, just to stay in practice, I got an email from the department the other day. There's a spotlighting opportunity for black-footed ferret. I'm sure they'd love to have you there with your bow.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they would. By the way, next Sunday, I have received official notification that you will be in a video.
Not me. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you did. They videoed your mug just as well as they did mine.
Like a musical video?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's going to be a video of Don and I participating in the delicate cuisine called horse meat, which we opened here, and the Republic was in and videotaped it. And it's a week-long edition, but there's a half-hour video they put together on the horse issue. And I specifically asked Mr. Loomis if it was biased, and he said, it's not biased. He said, but it is all sides, which sooner or later we're going to have Miss Simone, the horse advocate.
Yeah.
She's stunningly beautiful and has captured the media's attention because she's so good compared to us graybeards. But I would love to have a dialogue with her regarding her potential thoughts for solutions on what to do with the problem. And it is a problem.
It's
if
a huge
they deny
problem.
it, they're burying their heads.
All right, so let me get this straight. We're punching the horse lovers, which are supported by the Hells Angels.
Correct.
Okay, the Arizona Republic, the Democratic Party.
Yes.
The drug cartel, the fine folks down at Tono Odom.
Sierra Club is not in favor of having more horses. They did not support the legislation that went through now, which is a law that nobody can harm a horse in the Salt River Recreation Area.
And the Sierra Club stance was which?
That they did not support it. They did not support it because biologically it was unsound, which we all know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of the few times that our opinion has mirrored the Sierra Club's opinion.
Well, they don't support Jesse Jackson either.
No.
If we cannot regulate, we must eradicate.
Yeah, so Don, between your excursion south and our participation in the stallion medallions,
Nice.
we're going to be in the public's eye for a while. Your website address is listed prominently in the article I heard.
Yeah, and your phone number
your
is?
phone number is, yeah. Your phone number
Your
is
phone
on
number's
there, not
going up there.
mine.
Listen, I want to throw it out there. My email is don@shakerattleandtroll.com, or you can use info@shakerattleandtroll.com. If you have had an encounter with an illegal in the field, call me. I want to talk to you.
They can't call you, but they can send it
Oh,
to
yes.
you.
Yeah, shoot me an info.
We'd love
Use
to know.
info@shakerattleandtroll.com. We'll get back with you. Same thing if you've had an encounter or seen feral hogs in Arizona. We still have the...
we want to hunt those.
Yeah, I'm going to put my feral hog hotline number back up. We've had guys tell Joey about them. He's told me about them. You know where they are. You know where they are. Department has finally let the pig out of the bag, on the website, 12A, B, and 13. We've got feral hogs on the Kaibab.
Yes.
Go figure. You know that.
They're coming out. They came out of Utah. They didn't cross the Grand Canyon, so they didn't come out of Texas, but they did come out of Utah. And
So we're going to blame Utah?
Why not?
How big of hogs have you seen up there? I mean, you're Jack's Canyon, stuff like that?
You've seen them up in Jack's?
No, I haven't personally seen them there.
I
but,
heard they were in 4A.
You seen them on 5B North?
No.
Any evidence of them?
Hard to tell, but no, I mean, as much glassing as I've done there, I have not picked any up. But
I'm shocked.
It was, in the 70s when there was a pig farmer outside of passed away and had a couple hundred hogs there.
Is that out of Winslow?
I thought it was Winslow.
The hog.
And anyway, they started moving south, and then that's when finally Game and Fish opened it up to go hunt them because they were in Happy Jack. They were.
What do you mean open it up? They're non-game animal. They don't have any jurisdiction. on it to begin with.
Not initially. They would arrest you for it. They could cite you for that. Until
they never have been in the regs, or am I mistaken?
They're not in the regs.
Never have been.
Never have been.
So how do you get arrested for shooting a non?
Well, I know a gentleman that got cited.
Really?
Yeah, this was long before they said it was okay to do it.
Have him call me.
Okay.
Is there a statute of limitations, JK?
For murder, no. Sorry, don't go there. You're not going to get me in trouble. Not happening. You are trouble on the book
there's going to be
these days.
retribution. You invited Loomis down here.
Yeah.
You brought the horse meat.
Yeah.
You brought the wine and the cheese, and now all of a sudden I'm in the damn video. Yeah, wait a minute.
I saw you munching. I offered it. He said, "Oh yeah, I want to taste it too."
You guys talking about the pigs? How about 21? Anybody seen pigs in there lately?
Yes.
I haven't.
Okay. All right. Just so that what I seen was pig rooting up there about 5 years ago, and
Yeah.
it was tearing up the ground considerably.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, they do root. There's no question.
How much devastation did you see on your buddy's farm there in or ranch in Texas?
I think Texas is just different in that brush country, South Texas.
All those little gullies and washes, they live there.
Yeah, and you got to figure these guys are feeding the pigs. They don't have to dig as much as they normally would. Yeah. Some of these ranches are, who knows what their feed bill is, a month. but they're corning the crap out of it.
Just out of curiosity, what do they get for a hunt, per hunter, per day, per head?
Oh, I have no idea. I go down there for free.
You have a scholarship back there. I appreciate that.
Nice.
I don't know what they get for that, but I hear that they're lowering prices way down. Basically, they'll give you meals and a place to stay, and that's all they're charging you for because they want the hogs gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, go out and shoot as many as you can.
Would you be interested in that particular excursion?
Yeah, but not in the summer. Since if we're not guiding this fall, we're helping people this fall, I'd like to do that in the fall.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
All right, Tater, thanks for coming down, man. You're a wealth of
you.
information. We've got some video. We'll get that posted up on the website. Joey, God love you. How's Pat doing? You back to work?
No, he's not back to work yet. But
Give him my regards. Tell him I'll up my bid on that 44 mag you have there in the case. $250. JK, we'll see you Tuesday at Bass Pro Shop at 6:30 if you're interested in joining the ADA or hearing what we have to say or what the department has to say or making a comment to the department.
Be there.
Bass Pro Shop, 6:30. I'm Don McDowell. Take the kids fishing. We're out of here.
Gonna shake